Welcome to the Neurokrish immersion. In this episode of the podcast, we are addressing the woof in your brain. Well, I'm a dog lover and I've had dogs ever since I was an adolescent. And I'm going to talk to you about 4 of my dogs and what they have taught me over the years about the human brain and the human mind. This is therefore a journey into how temperament isn't just a human trait, but a shared neurobiological reality. We will look at how impulse drives Coco, the Basset Hound, how structure contains Carlo, the German Shepherd, how sensitivity protects Kaiser, the Rottweiler, and how emotional intelligence leads Leila, the Bullmastiff. This isn't about obedience, it's about understanding how brains behave on 4 legs and 2. Carlo is a German Shepherd. I would describe him as structured, loyal, obedient, and left-brain driven. Carlo lived with us for a very eventful 12 years, and he was a delight to own for a number of reasons. Coco, our Basset Hound, was impulsive, emotional, stubborn, and right-brained and very, very expressive. And we'll talk about Coco and what he brought to the table, which is quite different from what Carlo brought to the table. Leila, our Bullmastiff, was dignified, disciplined, intuitive, and an emotionally intelligent leader. And Kaiser, our Rottweiler, is intense, alert, soulful, very neurosensitive, and instinct-led. Each of these dogs is a window into a temperament type, and each teaches us something about ourselves. Ask yourself, do any of these temperaments feel very close to your own? Now here's a brain hemisphere tale on Carlo and Coco. I wrote this many years ago for the Hindu magazine, and if you're watching the visual guide, you will also see the Hindu magazine article. And of course it's behind a paywall, but you're most welcome to read it if you have a subscription. Carlo thrives on structure and routine. He listens, anticipates, and responds. His world runs on logic and order. And how did we understand this? It was during our morning walk. Carlo was purposeful. For him, the walk was a communion between him and his master. And once his jobs were done, which would be in the first couple of minutes of the walk, Carlo would proceed to walk because he saw purpose in walking. Coco, in contrast, moves with moods. He would resist commands, would follow his own instincts, and would chase emotion over outcome. So on the morning walk, while Carlo and his master would purposefully stride forward, Coco would be exploring everything he could find along the way, in parallel to the master and Carlo, who were trying to have a linear walk. So Coco would smell the trees, the plants, other animals, car tires. The list was endless. Carlo mirrors left brain dominance, logical, predictable, and rule-bound. Coco reflects right brain traits, expressive, sensory, and spontaneous. In Carlo and Coco, we see our own minds at play, reason and emotion side by side. So what are you at work and vice versa at home? Are you a Carlo? Are you a Coco? Ask yourself that question. Now, if you read up about Basset Hounds, you'll find that their temperament is, let's take our time and smell every leaf on the street. And if you read up about German Shepherds, it's what's the next task? Who needs protecting? Let's go. Living with them, therefore, can be quite contrasting. If you want a relaxed, comical companion who won't mind if you skip a run, the Basset is your dog. If you want a high-energy, intelligent partner who thrives with structure and a job, the German Shepherd is a better fit. So The fun analogy that I can think of is the Basset Hound as a mellow jazz listener with a good sense of humor, and the German Shepherd as a disciplined athlete who also happens to be a top security guard. And it's these contrasts in temperament that I first encountered when I enjoyed both these dogs in our home, each for about 12 years. If you're watching the visual guide, we have a graphic that contrasts for you the left brain German Shepherd and his traits with the right brain Basset Hound. And as I mentioned, you can read Temperamental Indeed either in the Hindu behind the paywall, or you can acquire my book Beyond Feeling from Neurokrish.com. Our next dog was Leila, the Bullmastiff. Widely described as reliable, devoted, reserved, protective, alert, docile, loyal, calm, powerful, courageous, and loving, the Bullmastiff shares the characteristic of the Molosser dogs used by gamekeepers to guard Old English estates. Indeed, its progenitor, the English Mastiff, and I'm talking about the Old English Mastiff, not the current English Mastiff, while alert and formidable, was thought to be too slow and plodding to take on the poacher and his dog, the lurcher. By crossing the English Mastiff with the Old English Bulldog, which is now extinct, in the 19th century, the compact, muscular and agile Bullmastiff came into being. When Leila first came to us as a puppy, she taught us many valuable lessons about respect, love and responsibility. We understood from her the importance of mutual respect, the need for predictable routines and interactions, the ability to be assertive without aggression, and the significance of unwavering loyalty and affection. Despite her size and strength, Leila as a Bullmastiff could understand and respond to respectful interactions. For example, you could always approach her slowly, but never go and tap her head from above. The former would be welcomed, the latter would be responded to. She thrived on routine and needed predictability and consistency in the daily routine, and it was crucial for her well-being. She was assertive without being aggressive. She could demonstrate a very valuable balance that, as an owner, I found very useful, because she was a formidable guard dog without ever attacking someone or biting someone, which made a huge difference. She was fiercely loyal and an affectionate companion. She taught us the value of unconditional love and unwavering faithfulness. Indeed, Leila could jump onto the companion seat in the car, travel for long distances without a leash, could walk around the city without a leash, would come in and sit with me when I went to the tailor or when I went to the barber and was being measured for an outfit or being worked on, and she wouldn't turn a hair as long as she felt that I was safe. Leila taught us about tough love, the best form of love in being firm and consistent, and that was the way in which she interacted. She did not need to bark to be heard. It was her calm presence that set a tone. She was able to read human cues, respect boundaries, and adapt without chaos. She represented in an emotional maturity which we as humans would call secure leadership. Assertive, aware, and emotionally tuned in without losing control. Ask yourself, how do you lead? Do you lead with quiet confidence or with noise? And think for a moment when a dog led your family through calm action. They are incredibly clever. Again, I wrote about Leila in the Hindu magazine. The article's titled Lessons from a Bullmastiff, and I would invite you to read this article too. When Leila was about 3.5 years old, we acquired Kaiser, our Rottweiler. And Kaiser was a very different dog from Leila, although Bullmastiffs and Rottweilers are supposed to be quite simple. Now, the Rottweiler's origins go back to Rottweiler in Germany, a town founded by Romans in the cattle herding region. They owe their large head and snout to the mastiffs they were bred from, and their intent watchfulness to their role as a guardian. Indeed, butchers would hang their purses around their Rottweilers' necks to keep them safe as they walked from the market home for many miles, having made their sale. This is how Kaiser described himself in an article I wrote for The Hindu, The Rottweiler's Multiverse. To my family, I am an affectionate goofball, prone to sit on their feet, unmindful of my size. I calm down to the meaningful Malayalam song Manushyan Madangalai Srishtichu by K.J. Yesudas, written by Vailar Ramavarma for the movie Achanum Bappayum. That, together with my penchant for tearing newspapers and disliking men in uniform, has led Dad to conclude that I must have been a left-leaning, chai-sipping news hound in my last birth. Notice the oxymoron. Kaiser is a sensitive guardian. He is alert, reactive, and deeply sensitive to his environment. He notices everything: men in uniform, two-wheelers, sudden movement, people with umbrellas, and he responds instinctively. Indeed, on our morning walk, I have fallen several times trying to restrain this 50 kg plus dog from having a go at someone who he thinks is in some way bringing danger to us. He's been bred to guard. He's wired to protect. His intensity isn't aggression, it's neurobiological vigilance. He's a dog with opinions, he has music preferences, and is mischievous, all wrapped in a muscular frame. Kaiser mirrors humans with sensory sensitivity, hypervigilance, and emotional depth. In fact, as a family, we are convinced that Kaiser is a neurodivergent dog. But ask yourself, do you sometimes get labeled for reacting strongly, even when you're just being highly aware of what's going on? There's therefore a temperamental spectrum that I'm describing here in the 4 dogs that I've talked about: the Basset Hound, the German Shepherd, the Bullmastiff, and the Rottweiler. And this goes from impulse to intuition, from Coco's whimsy to Leila's wisdom. Our dogs live along a temperament spectrum. It's not just nature, it's wiring shaped by the breed's history, early experience, and environment. And please remember that each dog is what they are, not just because of their innate uniqueness, but also because of how they were bred for generations. So Coco, we call him as right-brain, emotional, reward-seeking. Carlo is described as left-brained, disciplined, command-following. Kaiser as the hyper-aware sensory scanner, and Leila as self-regulated and relationally attuned. Temperament is not just behavior, it's the biology behind the behavior. On this spectrum, ask yourself where you place yourself. Are our dogs just companions or counselors? They do more than comfort. They reflect us. Their reactions mirror our emotions, routines, and even our anxieties. Each interaction is a feedback loop. Coco shows us what it means to live in the moment. Carlo, the beauty of discipline. Kaiser, how hyper-alertness is both a shield and stressful. Leila, that calm is a leadership trait. In neuropsychiatry, this mirroring resembles empathic resonance. Dogs sense our states through tone, posture, and even smell. Perhaps the question isn't what is my dog thinking, but what is my dog sensing in me? Think of a time when your dog knew something was wrong before anyone else did. I've had this experience several times of Kaiser, for example, or even Carlo, for example, knowing what was going to happen before it happened and reacting to it in advance. There is therefore a canine cortex which kind of mirrors the human cortex. neuroscientists now know that dogs' brains are structurally very similar to ours, particularly the limbic system, which governs emotion, bonding, and instinct. This is the oldest part of your brain, and as I often say, if you draw a line between your ears, it's there, right in the middle, on both sides. While Carlo may rely more on his basal ganglia for pattern recognition and command execution, Coco's limbic highs suggest dopamine-driven behavior. Kaiser, who's hypervigilant, probably has an amygdala that lights up with many stimuli, and Leila probably has a prefrontal cortex which is so well modulated that it keeps her grounded. And this insight parallels how human temperaments stem from brain region interactions. And just as temperament shapes human response, the canine brain dictates behavior often far more wisely than we give it credit for. If your dog's brain was therefore mapped like yours, what would it be its brightest spot? Would it be impulse? Would it be memory? Would it be empathy? Reflect on your own dog. This brings me to the famous hypothesis of Luria, the Russian neuropsychologist, of the 3 functional units of the brain. And for this, I would ask you to look at our visual guide. There is a unit for regulating tone and the waking mental states, and this is the base of the brain. There is a unit for receiving, analyzing, and storing information. This is your parieto-temporal cortex. And there's a unit for programming, regulation, and verification of activity, which is your frontal cortex and your prefrontal cortex. Now, the point that one needs to keep in mind, therefore, is what Luria hypothesized. Luria said, if you have emotional dysregulation, it's either because you are generating such strong emotions that from your limbic system that your frontal lobe is not able to control them, or indeed that even normal emotions that you generate, your frontal lobe is weak and is therefore unable to exercise control. It could either be a problem from the generator or indeed from the controller, is what Luria told us. When dogs and humans lock eyes, something beautiful happens. Both release oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds mothers and babies. This mutual gaze strengthens emotional trust, lowers stress, and deepens attachment. From wagging tails to licks on sad days, it's therefore neurochemistry at play, not just affection. Canine companionship thus becomes more than comfort, it's co-regulation. They help us stabilize emotionally just as we anchor their routines and sense of safety. Here's a fun fact. Stroking a dog for just 10 minutes can lower your cholesterol and boost your serotonin, impacting mood and even your heart rate. There are human-dog temperamental archetypes, and every dog in this story that we are talking about reflects a type of human temperament. Carlo, the German Shepherd, the left-brain thinker, is logical, dependable, task-driven, like a disciplined planner. Coco, the right-brain wanderer, is emotional, spontaneous, creatively erected, the artist of the groove. Kaiser, the watchful warrior, is vigilant, sensitive, often misunderstood, a protector with emotional layers. Leila, the Bullmastiff, is the grounded guide, emotionally intelligent, structured, and serene, a wise leader. These aren't just pet profiles, they are windows into how we operate as people, how we lead, respond, and connect. Which of these dogs mirrors the temperament you have the most today? And which one did you resemble 5 years ago? Journal this. Therefore, our temperamental compass is like a quadrant, where on 2 axes you have structure, spontaneity, sensitivity, and assertion. Each dog finds its place in this compass. Carlo as being structured and assertive, Coco as being spontaneous and sensitive, Kaiser as being structured and sensitive, Leila structured with balanced sensitivity and assertion. This framework mirrors tools used in psychology like MBTI or DISC, where individuals fall along personality spectrums. What's unique? Our dogs didn't take a quiz. They lived it and showed us how consistency, emotion, and instincts interplay. Here's a fun fact. Canine cognition research shows dogs can read human facial expressions and even synchronize their moods with their owners. Dogs also teach us lessons in leadership, loyalty, and love. They teach us much more than affection. They model grounded leadership and the neurobiology of loyalty. Leila leads through calm clarity, not dominance, much like mindful leaders. Kaiser shows us that strength must be paired with emotional safety. Carlo reminds us of the power of structure and earned trust. Coco proves that joy and creativity aren't chaos, they are spontaneity with soul. Each dog's behavior reveals an inner code, how relationships work best when roles are clear, emotions are validated, and boundaries are respected. What kind of leader are you in your human-canine pack? Ask yourself the question. There is a neuropsychiatry, therefore, of companionship. When we form deep emotional bonds with dogs, we engage brain systems involved in empathy, social reward, and even mirror neuron activation. Dogs can detect emotional cues in our body language and voice, often responding faster than humans. Their attunement creates a felt sense of being seen and accepted. What we label intuition in dogs is often highly evolved sensory intelligence shaped by thousands of years of co-evolution with humans. Here's a fun fact. Mirror neurons in humans may activate when watching dogs emote, explaining why their reactions move us so deeply. So what's neuroplasticity on a leash? Every walk, every routine with our dogs is a behavioral loop, teaching our brains new pathways of regulation, bonding, and observation. The routines we have with our pets reinforce neural pathways of responsibility, empathy, and time awareness. The consistency of walking a dog improves mental resilience, especially in people with depression or anxiety. The shared activity we have, walks, play, and training, builds joint attention, a precursor to social intelligence in both species. What habit has your dog made you form that changed your emotional or physical rhythm? I can tell you that Leila, when we lost her, taught me about the pain of loss in a way I had never learnt before. So canine therapy can also lead to cognitive healing. Beyond companionship, dogs are now active participants in structured therapeutic settings. From trauma recovery to autism care, their calming presence becomes neurobiological medicine. In PTSD therapy, dogs act as emotional anchors during trauma recall. In autism care, dogs can help establish non-verbal communication and encourage social cues. In elderly care, pet therapy reduces loneliness, improves memory recall, and enhances mood. Their benefits are not just emotional, they are clinical. And canine-assisted therapy, CAT, is now a recognized intervention in over 50% of US hospitals and care homes. There is therefore this evolutionary pact that we have with dogs. They weren't just domesticated, they co-evolved with us. Their brains adapted to read our cues, respond to our moods, and live alongside our chaos. It's an evolutionary alliance that revived both species. Canine oxytocin levels rise when they gaze at humans, just like mother-infant bonding. Humans develop better auditory and olfactory attunement due to early cohabitation with dogs. We hear better and smell better thanks to them. Dogs became early emotional translators, bridging humans to their environment and each other. This, therefore, isn't just a friendship, it's a neurological, emotional, and evolutionary pact. Our ancestors didn't tame wolves, they formed alliances with companions who understood without speaking. There is therefore a dog within us, and as I close this exploration, we have to circle back to the deeper question. what do our dogs awaken in us? A sense of attunement to the present, to the subtle, to the unspoken, a capacity for unconditional connection beyond logic or performance, a reminder of instincts long buried beneath layers of culture and speed. Whether it's Carlo's structure, Coco's spontaneity, Leila's calm leadership, or Kaiser's sensitive guard, each canine temperament invites us to know ourselves better. And as we come to the end of this podcast, I'm sure as a dog lover listening to this, you probably enjoyed listening to it, and I hope you learned something from it. I hope you're able to relate your own experiences with your canine companions to the ones that I have narrated. If you liked what you heard, please like, share, and follow us. We are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And if you want to watch the visual guide, it's on YouTube as well. Thank you for listening.